Thank you for joining this lesson. We're going to discuss Mathematics Paper 1, the construction of a parallelogram. Using a ruler and a pair of compasses only, construct a parallelogram PQRS in which PQ equals to 7 centimeters, QR 4.5 centimeters, and angle QPS equals to 52.5 degrees. Measure the length PR. Remember to subscribe and to share the link with friends. So what we're going to do first is to construct PQ as a length. So that is where we will begin. So I'll do a straight line. Then I make a mark on it. This will be my P. So that when I use a compass to measure 7 centimeters, and I make an arc now using the radius of 7. I make an arc using the radius of 7. This will be my Q, 7 centimeters. Then the next thing to do, allow me to begin by measuring or constructing the angle. The angle is 52.5 degrees. What we should know is that because we are not going to measure this angle, we have to construct it. Then we should know that the angles we can construct, the special angles that can be constructed without having necessarily to measure them with a protractor, are 60 degrees, 90 degrees. Then the bisection of these angles, which might lead us to 30 to 45 degrees. So we're going to use the construction of 60 and 90 to help us get 30, 45. And for us to get 52 degrees, then we need a bisection of 60, which will give 30. A bisection of 90, which will give 45. Then we further bisect the 45 to give us 22.5. 22.5 degrees plus 30 degrees will give us the desired angle of 52.5. So let us follow keenly. I'll begin by constructing 60. Then after bisecting 60, I'll get my 30. So I'll stand here and make an arc. Then standing on that arc, I make an arc there. That is 60 degrees. This means that when I'm going now to bisect this 60, the angle I'll get will be 30 degrees. Therefore, I can make an arc. And standing here, I cut the first arc. So the angle I'm producing now at this point is going to be 30 degrees. Now, I can construct 90 degrees because from this 30 now, I'll need 22.5. Then I can produce this line such that if I make an angle of 90 degrees at this point, okay, so let me make an arc at that point. Then using the same radius, I make an arc at this point. Then now I extend my radius so that I make an arc at this point and an arc at this point. So now when I produce this line, this will be 90 degrees. That will be 90 degrees. So the bisection of this 90 is going to give me, 45 angles, 45 degrees angles. So when I bisect 90 by making an arc and an arc, then standing at this point, I make an arc. Then I come here with the same radius, I make an arc. I'll produce an angle of 45. Therefore, the angle was 90. but now I'm having 45, 45. It was 90 degrees, now 45, 45, which means when I bisect this 45, I'll get 22.5. Therefore, I move on to bisect my 45. Therefore, standing here, I can make an arc, then also make an arc this point. Then now I elongate a little bit. Standing here, I make an arc, and standing at this point, I make an arc. Therefore, I can produce now, line. Now I have bisected 45 degrees, giving me a 22.5. This means at the end of the day now I'm having an angle of 52.5. Therefore, with such an angle now, now I can make the measurement of the distance, which is going to be 4.5, because from Q to R will be the same as from P to S. So I can identify S by measuring 4.5. So standing here, I measure 4.5. Then I transfer that measurement up to this point. So this could be my 4.5 centimeters, which means this is S. Therefore, I need to exactly construct an equal angle at this point. Yeah, at this point, where my arc for Q is, I need now to construct a similar angle on the outer side, so that PS will be parallel to QR. Parallel to QR. Therefore, okay, instead we can have an alternative whereby I will have now to use a compass to make 60. Let me have it there. A compass to make 60. Then standing at this point, I make an arc. Therefore, I'm going to produce this line, which is 16. And I bisect it now to give me 30. I bisect it to give me 30. So making an arc, and from this point I make an arc, I'm going to have 30 degrees. But remember, I need 52.5. Therefore, I'm going to produce that 30 degrees, and I extend so that I may produce my 90 degrees at that point. 90 degrees at that particular point. Therefore, standing here, I make an arc, and I also make an arc. Then I extend a little bit. I make an arc. Standing here, I make an arc to cut the first one. Therefore, this will be 90 degrees. Meaning that now with 90 degrees, I can bisect the 90. I can bisect the 90 to give me 45. Therefore, make an arc there. And I make an arc here. Then I extend a little bit. Standing on those arcs now, I make another arc. Yeah. That way I'll have bisected this 90. And with a bisected 90, it means I have 45 and 45. Therefore, a bisection of this 45 will give me 22.5. Therefore, I can stand at this point. I make an arc. And I stand at this point. I make another arc. That way I'll have bisected the 45 into 22.5, just as we had done in the other time. Therefore, this is 30 degrees, this is 22.5, so this is my 52.5. That means with the 4.5 length, with the 4.5 standing here and making an arc, then I'm going to have my point R, because this is 4.5 centimeters. Now joining RS. Joining RS, I'm going to have my parallelogram. Yes. So I have now the parallelogram PQRS. This is 4.5, which has to be equal with 4.5. This is 7, which has to be equal with 7. This angle, which has been extracted here, should be equal to the angle in the inside here, which makes it equal to the angle here. And the angle at this point will automatically be equal to the angle at the other point. Thank you for following. Subscribe and share.